Phil Goff, morning to you.
Morena, good to have you in London.
Do you miss me?
We had our differences over time, Mike, but we had some good conversations as well.
Exactly. Talk to me about this role versus the old role versus your other roles. Do you like local or international better?
Well, I've done both, of course. I've been Foreign Minister, Defence Minister, Trade Minister, and I really loved that work, working internationally, promoting New Zealand, getting good trade agreements across the ground. But I love being the mayor of my local community as well. Both jobs have their challenges. Both are pretty tough. So this is more an extension of what I was doing internationally at the time that I was a minister. But really enjoying, just getting out and meeting the New Zealanders. That we've got about 70,000 of them across the United Kingdom. Some fantastic people, and working with the Brits. I don't think there's any country on earth that's closer to New Zealand than the Brits are in their way of thinking. So there's a lot we can do together, and we've made some huge advances, just in the last 12 months or so.
Are you limited in what you can say now, generally?
I'm a servant of the government.
So yes. So the reason I ask that is you look at the trade deal that we've done with Britain, for example, and that's, I would argue, is as good as it gets as far as a free trade, and you know about free trade deals. And then you look across at the Europeans. Are we ever going to get anything substantive together with the Europeans?
Well, what we got was worthwhile, not as good as what we had with the United Kingdom, and that's just the way it goes. It wasn't through lack of trying, I think, by the minister and by the officials that were involved in that. But you're right about the UK free trade agreement. It's a gold standard agreement. The work that was done on it beforehand suggests that will increase our exports by about 53%, another $1 billion in income over time. That's really good. And it takes us back to where we were. I mean, when I was a kid, 64% of the trade was with the United Kingdom. That slipped right down, particularly with the entry of the United Kingdom into the European market way back in the 70s. But now's a chance to build on a market that's the 6th or 7th biggest economy in the world. It's a high value economy, and it does allow us to diversify our trade, which I think is really important.
I don't know if this is in your wheelhouse anymore, but why haven't we done better with India in terms of trade?
I think because of agricultural products. We've got a really good free trade agreement here, which allows for the phasing out of all tariffs on meat and dairy. We've got a similar thing with China, but over a much longer period of time. But India won't contemplate having our agricultural produce, which is really big for New Zealand, coming into the Indian market.
And that is the way it is, and that will not change?
Not in the near future. You always hope that people will look at what the advantages of freeing up international trade will be. It makes everybody better off. This is a great deal for New Zealand with the United Kingdom, but it's a great deal for the United Kingdom as well. We both benefit, we both gain advantage.
All diplomacy aside, does Britain care about a country the size of New Zealand?
Yeah, for a whole lot of reasons. One, we've always punched above our weight as a country. We've always been out there. We've been vocal. We've made the sacrifices. I talked on Anzac Day here how 58% of the 103,000 New Zealanders that went overseas ended up casualties, killed or wounded. And the Secretary of Defence said to me he never actually realised that New Zealanders had made that level of sacrifice. I mean, we lost more per capita than almost any other nation on earth. But the Brits also feel very positive about New Zealand. We are aligned with them, not because we're tied to their apron strings, as once was the case, but because we have similar values, similar institutions, a similar commitment to democracy, freedom, human rights. And that makes us a really good partner. And I've just had fantastic receptions from everybody that I've met within the British system. They have a real and genuine and deep affection for New Zealand. They want to work with us. And in an uncertain and troubled world, it makes a whole lot of sense for countries that are like-minded to work more closely together.
What's your observation of the King so far?
I first met the King when he was Prince of Wales way back, 2014. I was impressed that he'd done his homework. I was impressed that he was engaging. I was impressed that he asked relevant questions. He was on top of his topics. He was easy to talk to. And in my recent meetings with the King, in particular my audience with the King, those views of the King were really reinforced. I think he is the United Kingdom's number one diplomat. People said 30 years ago, what's this guy talking about? Sustainability, environment. What he was talking about 30 years ago is now mainstream in the world. He was ahead of his time. He's a person that wants to make a better world, and I think he does it really well.
For those who say that what you do now is nothing more than cocktails and glad handing, can you correct that?
Yeah. It was an interesting week last week. I had one 21-hour day and one 20-hour day. That was partly because of Anzac and partly because I had an engagement speaking up at Cambridge University. This job is about advocacy for your country. It's about engaging with the Kiwis that are here, working with them. It's about getting the best deals that we can for New Zealand. And if you look at the deals we've got, that new working holiday scheme that is coming into effect at the end of this month is just fantastic. I came here as, on my honeymoon, actually. My wife and I were in our early 20s. My kids came here and worked. Having that person-to-person relationship with the United Kingdom is really important, and this working holiday scheme both allows more Brits to come and work in New Zealand, and we always welcome that. Young Brits coming, bringing their skills, their energy. A lot of them may end up staying in New Zealand, and likewise giving young Kiwis the chance to live and work here. This is the springboard to get into Europe. It's a place where they can find jobs. It's a place where they can renew and refresh connections between our two countries. I think that's really fantastic.
We're running a tally. It's running 2-1 at the moment. Hipkins is going suit. Luxon's going morning suit. Richie McCaw's going morning suit. Phil Goff is
going suit, and so are the Prime Ministers of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, but we'll be proudly wearing, the Prime Minister and I, our korowai over our suits. That will set us apart more than the morning suit. I have to wear morning suits from time to time. It's not something I love doing. Where it's appropriate, you need to do it, but the Palace has made it very clear, suit or morning suit, it's your choice.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
The Mike Hosking Breakfast, 6 to 9 weekdays on News Talk ZB.